and welcome to this Functional Skills remote lesson. Hopefully you've got to the right place on Moodle. So this is just the video which will talk through the materials, set you up with the tasks, and hopefully give you support and advice about what you need to do. Okay, so what we're doing today is this quick recap of main purposes of a text. Gonna look at language features, which comes up in the reading exam. So we're gonna do some work on defining what language features are, and then being able to identify those language features in a couple of example texts. Okay, and if we have time, we'll do some writing as well. So, quick opener, quick starter. What I want you to do is look at this notice here that was taken from a restaurant. Pause the video and just see how many mistakes can you find. Can you rewrite that into the correct form? There are more than one mistake. Let me just put it like that. Okay, so hopefully you got that. So this is the correct version. We can't cook our meat right now. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we still have chicken to serve. Sorry again. So just quite an example of how if you do get your English and your spelling wrong, it's virtually impossible for anyone to understand you. Okay, so check your version against the version up here. See how many you actually got right. And that's the original again. Okay, good. Right, let's move on. So, what we're going to do, first of all, very quick recap, thinking about the purpose of texts. Okay, so you should have done this in your first couple of weeks at college. So how many different reasons can you think of as to why you might write a text? Okay, so hopefully you had some or all of these. So to inform, I give information, to educate, to kind of try and teach somebody something, to persuade them to do something, describe something that's happened, maybe just to entertain you, keep you, like I said, entertained, interested in it, to give you instructions and to advise you to do something. So, like I said, in the reading exam, one of the things you need to do is be able to identify what the purpose of the text is. And also when it comes to your writing exam, it's really useful to be able to know why it is you're writing, so you can kind of adapt your writing to make sure you meet that purpose. Okay, so what we're going to focus on, like I say, are persuasive texts today. Okay, and we're going to look at how they work and the techniques that they use to persuade us to agree with them. So persuasive texts aim to persuade you to do or think about something. Okay, usually involves spending money. Okay, so most persuasive texts are, or very common form is an advert. Okay, so we've got two adverts here. One for the British Army and one for a charity called Orphan Aid. Okay, so although they are persuasive texts, I just want you to pause the video and just think, what is the purpose of each text? Because in the exam, not only do you have to say what the purpose is, to persuade, to inform, but also the content of it as well. So like I said, pause the video and think, what is the actual purpose of this text beyond just to persuade you? So hopefully you had something. So for the British Army advert, you had something about maybe to persuade you to join. It's actually from a job advert, so something on persuade you to join the army. Okay, and then for Orphan Aid, it's to persuade you to give them money. Yeah, to sponsor a child or donate some money for them for their charity work. Okay, so how do persuasive texts persuade you? So what we're going to look at are persuasive techniques, or sometimes called language features. So these are techniques or tricks that writers use to kind of persuade you, or to help you to agree with them, or to kind of get you to do something. Okay, so like I said, these will be coming up in the reading exam. You have to be able to identify what the techniques are in a text. So you need to say both what the text is and then give an example of that technique. So what I want you to do is to pause the video now. On the left hand side we have 8 of the techniques. On the right hand side we have a definition of each one. So I want you to match up the numbers, the techniques, with the definitions. Okay, so pause the video, take 5 minutes, and then we'll go through. Okay, so have you done that? So hopefully, let's go through, see how many you got right. So the first one, rule of 3, fairly straightforward. 1 and C, supposed to be the same colour, hasn't quite worked, never mind. So rule of 3, 3 words or phrases in a sentence to emphasise a point. Okay, so we'll look at some examples of these in a bit, but it's the idea that 3 different words in a list. It's supposed to be more memorable, easier to remember, makes more of an impact. Alliteration, so that's number 2, is F. 2 or more words starting with the same letter. So if you remember to the one we looked at before, we had be the best. So that's a kind of alliteration. Yeah, the idea that if words start with the same letter, it's easier to remember. Okay, so motive language. In a very bright green, it's using language to create. Here it says sympathy, but it can also create maybe fear or love, feeling of happiness. Normally, it's to create kind of feeling sympathy or feeling guilty about something, so you will then spend your money on that thing. Okay, facts and statistics. Numbers, percentages, so 85% of people think that this is the best shampoo ever, that type of thing. Rhetorical question, so a question that can't be answered. So a question that doesn't need to be answered, we should say. So it'd be things like, do you want to be rich? If so, do the lottery. That sort of thing. Okay. Direct address. Like I said, talking directly to the reader or the viewer. So that would work by using words like you or we. Do you want to be rich? If the reader thinks that they're being talked to directly or being included in the conversation, then it makes it more believable, and they're more likely to feel involved in the product and the message that is trying to be get across. Okay, repetition. That should be G, hasn't come up. So this one here. So repeating idea or phrase in a text. Again, the more you repeat something, the more memorable it becomes. And quotations, use of quotations. So that would be H there. So I had numbers that hasn't quite worked. So that's taking information direct from a person, what they said. So often this might be a quotation from an expert, a scientist, or something like that, to try and make your arguments more forceful, more believable. Okay. So what I want you to do now is watch these 2 adverts, and I want you to think. Might have to watch them a couple of times. Okay. Write down what you notice. Okay. How do they try and persuade you? Okay, so what I want you to do is maybe pause it, go back, watch the video again. Okay, so you might have to rewind a little bit on this video, and then see how many different techniques you can notice. And then what we'll do, once you've gone through it again, is I'll talk through the video with you, so you get an idea of how it works. Okay, so hopefully you've watched that video a couple of times, rewinded it. So we'll talk through it now, and we'll see. I'll show you how many there are. Okay, so do you have to be quite quick with this one? So what home button? Rhetorical question. Okay, the most durable glass ever. So didn't actually talk about this one, but this is might call it exaggeration or hyperbole, showing how dramatic or amazing something is. Okay, so a couple of things there. So you've got some kind of facts. So it tells you the chip that's used. So kind of like statistics. And again, that use of kind of exaggeration or hyperbole, the most advanced ever. Okay, and I don't know if you noticed the word your there. So that's direct address, your face. Okay, so again, repetition as well, repeating your face many times just to get that sense of personal connection with the iPhone X. Okay, so obviously there was lots of direct address and repetition of your face again in the previous section, and then here again it's very quick, but it gives you all the facts, all the the different kind of technique, the different things that the phone has. So again, overloading you with facts to make you want to buy this item. Okay, so again, direct address, you've never seen anything like it. I don't know if you noticed, but the very last word was you. Okay, so again, finishing with that sense of the personal on the text. Okay, so I'm going to watch a different advert now. Very different tone and feel to it. Just to warn you, if you're an animal lover, they might contain scenes which might be a little bit upsetting. So just to put that out there before we watch it. Okay, so again, just pause the video. If you want to watch it again, you can do. And we'll different techniques. Like I said, it's a bit easier than the other one because it's slower. And then we'll go through again once you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you've gone through this. So again, we'll just very quickly go through. I'll pause and explain how each technique works. Okay, so that one's so that's statistics. Yep. How many calls they received last year, the year before. Okay, so again, using statistics, and also emotive language, the word cruelty, and obviously because of the video, you know, it's very emotive. So although you wouldn't get that in a text, but some of the techniques, it's black and white, it's the music, always designed to create an emotional reaction in you as the reader or viewer. Okay, so again, another statistic for you. So obviously quite a haunting image, and obviously the word starved has a very emotional response. Again, that phrase, on the brink of death, again, very emotional reaction. The use of the word we there. So they're talking about RSPCA. I think the use of the word we kind of implies that by watching it and sympathising, you're part of it as well. Okay. So yeah, so we don't need to watch the rest of the video, but you get the idea. So it's the change in music, it's colour, the word thriving. Okay, so emotive language doesn't always have to be negative. So here it's a positive reaction. So thriving, forever home, gives you that idea. Excellent. Okay, so just a quick recap. So we've looked at both of those now. Okay, so a couple more quick adverts just to make sure you've got these ideas correctly. So you can watch a couple more these are actual adverts rather than films. Okay, so again, just pause the video here. Let's see how many could you have you found. Okay, so pause the video, take a couple of minutes, write down examples of all the different language techniques, persuasive language ideas you could find. Okay, so again, there's lots in this one. So if we start from the top, cold, hungry, abused. So that's both rule of three and obviously emotive language. Will you be a hero in his eyes this Christmas? So you've got a rhetorical question. Again, emotive language, hero. You, direct address. Moving further down. Okay, so you've got some statistics, 28,741 instances of abandonment, etc., etc. And then also got some repetition. You've got hero, hero, everyday heroes, text hero. So there's lots of things there about you know, the use of the word hero, direct address, you be a hero, obviously designed to make us as the reader feel like this, that we will be a hero. Okay, so again, some more involved in emotive language, cruelty and abuse. Will you help them? Rhetorical question. Yes, of course I will. And so on and so on. Okay, and there's also something here about the different coloured fonts as well. Think about how a text is organised. So you've got the black and the red, keywords in red, you know, bold text as well. All part of the same idea. Good. Okay, let's look at the next one. Slightly different text. So just pause it very quickly. What techniques can you find? Oh, only two on this one. Nice and straightforward. Okay, so hopefully you found both. So you've got direct address, you deserve a mega mac, and obviously you've got two words starting with the same letter. So mega mac, mega muck spicy. So alliteration as well. So McDonald's uses a lot of alliteration. Everything becomes muck something, as I'm sure you've realised. Okay, and the final advert. Again, just pause the video, have a look, see what you can find. Okay, so straightforward this one. In the blind test without knowing the brand name, 83% wanted to use it again. So that's use of statistics. This idea of shampoos often go for this, or toothpaste, that type of thing in adverts. 83% wanted to use it again. Okay, sorry, one more, forgot. So again, pause the video. What technique or techniques are used here? Okay, so you've got two things. You've got rhetorical question, why love one but eat the other. You've also got emotive language. So you've got love and eat, choose vegetarian, mercy for animals, etc, etc. Okay, so what we're going to look at is a couple of examples, slightly different from what it'd be in the actual exam, but it's just giving you the idea. Okay, so if you go back to the folder, I'll just show you what you should be finding. So it's these texts here. There we go. Yep, so it's language technique examples. Okay, so like this is slightly different from what you would actually have in the exam itself. Okay, but it is just good practice for you in being able to actually identify all the different types of possible language techniques, writer's technique, language features, etc. you could find. The answers are at the bottom, just to warn you, so you can mark that yourself. Okay, but please be sensible, don't just go straight to the answers, because that defeats the purpose of it. Okay, so work your way through this. Each time it just gives you an example, and I just want you to see if you can, from the multiple choice, see if you can choose the correct answer out of those. And then, like I said, so pause the video, go through that, and then check your answers with the ones at the bottom. Okay, so one final task. So once you've gone through that, what I want you to do now is I want you to go and try and find any example of persuasive text that you can. So it could be newspaper article, it could be adverts, it could be that sort of thing. What I want you to be able to do is do two things. I want you to identify the language feature. Okay, so is it alliteration? Is it rule of three? Yep. Find an example and make sure you know what the example is, what type of feature, and the example itself. Because in the exam, you won't be given a list. You will need to identify it from the texts that are in the exam paper. Okay, so once you've done that, that will be the end of the lesson. So thanks very much for listening today. Enjoy it, and see you soon.